What's happening, everybody? It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. It is Sunday, January 28th. Hope you're doing awesome and hope you had a great weekend. In this video, we're going to do another rapid fire news video update for the period January 20th to the 26th. And if you're just tuning in for the first time to this new format and this new type of video, basically we just go over all of the major news pieces that happened over the last week, right? So just anything that I see that I think is the most important, I try to jam into a video about 10-15 minutes long and just go over a high level overview, not in depth, but if you want to go into it in more detail on your own time, you can feel free to do so. But like I said, liking the new format and the responses that I'm getting from it, and I really do enjoy doing these videos. Also, I just wanted to let everybody know, it's been a while since I've done a video. I think it's been about 5 days now, but essentially it's not that I'm quitting or anything like that. It's because of the fact that I just became officially a father. So welcomed our daughter into the world. It was an amazing experience. I just absolutely love her to pieces already, and it's truly an amazing feeling, kind of just watching the whole process and seeing them entering the world. It's truly something to behold. So very, very thankful for that, and everybody's healthy. Mom and baby are healthy, so very, very thankful for all of my blessings, and can't wait to see her grow and develop into a lady. It's going to be a hell of a ride. So it's been an amazing experience. Life's been upside down, but I wouldn't change it for anything, and it just very, very tiring. I'll definitely admit that, but it makes it all worthwhile when you see how sweet she is, and you just can't wait to lay eyes on her. So it's been an absolute amazing experience. All right, jumping into it. Before we get to the news updates, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos. Also, you can give us a follow over on X, and the handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. It's the best way for me to get real-time updates out to the community. Also, Organigram announces appointment of Karina Gehring to the board of directors, and she comes from BAT, which is British American Tobacco, and as we know, they have a stake in the company. They've been a partner, and there's some news with regards to that here coming as well in just a moment. But very, very bullish in my opinion. I think Organigram is going to be one of the top MJ companies, definitely in the top 10 globally, in my opinion, over the next 5+ 10 years. Also, the Cannabis company announces debt repurchase agreement to reduce leverage by up to $25 million. We also have DeSantis saying MJ legalization will be on the Florida ballot following court review. I've been saying for many, many months now that I expect this to be the case, where Floridians will vote for MJ legalization at the recreational level in November, and then I've been hearing through the grapevine that it could be potentially enacted in July 2025. So that is the timeline that we're expecting there. But I think there's probably 80-90% chance this ends up on the ballot, maybe even 90+% now, that because DeSantis dropped out of the race, right? So we know that he was trying to appeal to a broad range of people, and then once he was no longer in the race for president, then he was able to kind of drop some of those states that have high stigma towards the plant and the medicine of the future, and he can focus on the states that like it, right? So before, he was trying to cater to everybody, and kind of using MJ, not really the best way to, at least not right now, right? Because we know there's still a huge stigma associated with it, especially in some of the more conservative states and less progressive states, right? So this is huge, and then I think there's about a 70-80% chance that it actually gets voted on and approved in the vote, and it actually gets enacted into law. And like I said, that would likely be in the summer of 2025. Also, Germany to legalize MJ by April, top official says. So this, I've already done a video on this. You can check that out. But essentially, Lauterbach expects it to happen, even though there was some opposition. Also, Boris Jordan, executive chairman and co-founder at Cureleaf, mentioned on Bloomberg Business today that safe banking is in joint committee between the Senate and House, possibly getting some movement in March. And then you couple that with DEA rescheduling. He believes that it will happen by mid-April in order to be fully completed by the November 2024 election. And I couldn't agree more. That's something that I've been saying for a while now. The charts are pointing to that, where we could see massive upside into March and April. And a lot of names starting to confirm monthly uptrends. MSOS ETF, very close to confirming a monthly uptrend for the first time in ETF history. Also, Body and Mind awarded state approval for New Jersey dispensary, and great little producer, in my opinion. MSO. I think this is a great company. I wouldn't, mortgage the house or remortgage the house or, risk the whole bank account on this one, but definitely a solid, profitable, small MSO to keep your eye out for in the future. Also, record December pushes Missouri MJ sales past 1.3 billion for 2023. That is amazing. Also, Massachusetts sets MJ sales record in December with total purchases in 2023 reaching 1.8 billion. Are we starting to see, this is without advertising. This is with, barely any adoption. And, we have, a lot of states that are now legal in one form or another, whether it be medical or recreational, but there's still so much growth ahead from, the United States and Canada and then the rest of the world, right? And this is just a tip of the iceberg on how these companies are going to be very, very high cash flowing companies in the future. And it's just, there's so much growth here, it's not even funny. Also, High Tide founder and CEO Raj Grover makes Grow Ops 2024 top 50 MJ leaders in Canada's list. And I just did a video on their earnings prep. Their earnings is tomorrow after market close, and then they have a conference call on Tuesday morning as well. But check out that video for all of the details on that. I give my thoughts and opinions and some projections and analyst estimates and what we can potentially expect. But very, very bullish on High Tide long term. Also, New Jersey MJ agency approves consumption lounges rules. The New Jersey MJ regulator is gradually working on making consumption lounges a reality. I think this is going to be a massive trend going forward, and can't wait for some Cannabis as well. It's always been a dream of mine to create one of those. Also, Tilray Brands completes its acquisition of Trust Beverage Co. from Molson Coors Canada. Absolute monster of a company. This is Tilray, definitely my biggest MJ holding, but this is a huge acquisition in my opinion. They've absolutely got a stranglehold now on the beverage market, and they're number one in terms of market share in Canada, and I think that's going to be the case for a very, very long time. I can't really see anybody passing them in terms of number one. Maybe briefly for a couple minutes, but I can't see anybody beating the juggernaut that is Tilray Brands. Also, 1/3 of MJ consumers would return to the illicit market if rescheduling restricts access to pharmacies. New poll finds, and I would agree with that. That's not, well, I wouldn't say 1/3, but maybe a quarter, maybe a fifth, but I think that's a little extreme. But yeah, pharmacies, we'll see what happens. I don't think that's the most likely scenario, but I can definitely see some going back. Cannabis growth kicks off the new year with new products from Tweed, 7 Acres, and Spectrum Therapeutics. Again, you can check out the full article on that. Also, Aurora unveils innovative MJ-infused ready-to-drink beverage in latest medical product launch. So they're going to be another huge beneficiary of Germany. Same with Tilray. But yeah, this is another... it's going to be massive, right? There's so many massive catalysts coming, and these companies are all, there's going to be winners and losers, right? There's going to be tons of companies that fall by the wayside, but these companies, Aurora, they've got a very bad reputation. Canopy, it's never been bleak, more doom and gloom at Canopy at the moment, but there's these companies, they have a lot of brands, they have a lot of assets, and they're not going to tap out this easily. So I think that they could potentially, with all these catalysts that are coming, right, and then potential improvements to excise taxes and all of the regulations here in Canada, I think it's only going to benefit these companies. And like I said, with Germany and all the catalysts in the US, there could be some major buy in the dip opportunities here. Also, Organigram announces the first tranche closing from BAT, so British American Tobacco Investment. And like I said, this is a massive, massive company, $124 million investment from BAT. This is going to be one of the biggest powerhouses in the sector, in my opinion, as well, Organigram. But we'll see, maybe they get acquired or they merge with another company eventually later on down the road, or they involve more M&A mergers and acquisitions as well. Also, Biden DOJ asks judge to dismiss federal MJ prohibition challenge. And this is basically, we'll see what happens here, but they're just trying to protect rescheduling, the chances of rescheduling as much as possible. So the Biden administration attorneys asked federal judge on Tuesday to dismiss a lawsuit filed by 4 MJ companies challenging federal prohibition. However, while doing so, the Justice Department appeared to support both the ongoing federal MJ rescheduling process as well as state legal MJ. So we'll continue to monitor that, but I still don't think it's going to derail rescheduling. I think rescheduling is almost a certainty at this point, as certain as it can be in financial markets, which we know are never certain, right? So we'll see, but I'm highly, highly confident that we're going to see rescheduling at some point this year, and I would say more than likely sometime between now and May. Also, another bullish article here, and this time is different narrative continues. I really do think that this time is different, but we'll see what happens. We can't predict the future, but I think our chances are as good now as they've ever been. But Uber, Colorado governor, Amazon, PayPal, and others report MJ lobbying on banking and rescheduling and even more. If we just go through here, Altria, Amazon, American Bankers Association, American Bar Association, American Express, Cresco Labs, Cureleaf, Jazz Pharmaceuticals, Liberty Mutual. We got Morgan Stanley, National Beer Wholesalers Association, National MJ Roundtable. We've got Normal, PayPal, Trulieve, Scott's Miracle Grow, US MJ Council. So the list goes on and on. But this time is different, in my opinion, for sure. That's not just a false narrative, in my opinion. I think the writing's on the wall at this point, and we just have to be a little bit more patient. CEO and board chair exit MJ, MSO, MedMen. So we continue to see this company shake things up, but this could be, if this company pulls it together, could be a massive risk versus reward opportunity. Also, New York regulators to vote on proposed weed home cultivation rules. New York MJ regulators will soon vote on rules for home cultivation of MJ. I think this is going to get passed. It doesn't make any sense. How can we not allow it to happen at home? It's just, even if it's 4 plants, 5 plants, 6 plants, who cares? It should be at some form or another allowed to happen, right? Like, even if it's only 2 plants or 1 plant, you can't make everybody, force everybody. Like, it's just, in my opinion, it's kind of ridiculous. But here in Canada, it's 4 plants, so per household. And I used to grow. I don't really anymore, because it's almost like, if it was fun at first, right? It was more of a hobby, and I was growing some 30+ percent THC flower, and it was great, and I loved it. But it's a lot of work. It was fun. It was a hobby, but it's not sustainable. And with my lifestyle right now, it's like I don't really have the place to put it here in a condo either. And a baby, I just had a baby, a daughter, so it's not really that, it's just not fitting my lifestyle at the moment. So you're always, and then eventually you have where cheaper. It's just cheaper to go to the dispensary, right? It's easier to go to get it from the legal dispensary than it is to grow it myself, right? It's more of, like I said, at the beginning when MJ first rolled out in Canada, it was, an arm and a leg. It was super expensive, and the weed was shit, right? Excuse my French, but everybody knows that if you bought during the initial phase of rollout in Canada, it was terrible, right? And eventually it gotten better, and now it's awesome, right? And it's only going to continue to get better as time goes on. But yeah, Mississippi MJ advertising ban is constitutional, judge rules. But maybe it is, but at this point, rescheduling, all of this stuff is going to help with all of these bans that we have, and these antiquated and outdated rules that we have on the medicine of the future, right? It's just going to continue. We're going to see research. All of this stuff is going to continue to amplify and just get bigger. And eventually advertising will happen. But again, that's just another growth catalyst that we have to be patient for, right? And just shows, again, yes, it sucks that we have to wait, but it just goes to show how early we really are in the grand scheme of things. Also, New York governor says she's very fed up with slow MJ retailer licensing rollout. So she's kind of joining all of the MJ crowd who are impatient, right? But as we know, the stock market's a mechanism for transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient. So it's all about being Mr. and Mrs. Patient, right? So I'm Mr. Patient, and I will just continue to outpatient everybody else and continue to load up, and it's just a matter of time, right? It's inevitable. The tea leaves, the charts, they're saying that over the next few months we could see massive price appreciation and a potential confirmation of a new bull market that could span, in my opinion, a few years. Also, majority of U.S. likely voters back legalization of MJ in all 50 states. New poll from GOP research firm shows. So again, it's just a matter of when, not if, right? The people have spoken, and as years go by, as months go by, years go by, decades go by, we continue to see massive records being, record sales. We see more and more states legalize at the medical level and then recreational level, and then, monumental changes to rescheduling, right? And pardons, and all of this stuff is just, it's reassuring, and it's confidence that we're on the right path, right? And our time is very, very close, and it's only going to be legalized once. So let that sink in. Also, High Tide to open its first Canna Cabana store in Fort McMurray, Alberta, which is great because I've been to Fort McMurray. I've stayed there for a couple of months, and they didn't really have that many options. And also, the prices were very high up there. So we'll see if Canna Cabana can just kind of own that market, and not a huge market by any means, but certainly interesting to see that there's so much more expansion just nationwide, and then Ontario upping its stores from 75 to 150, doubling the store count is only going to benefit High Tide, in my opinion. Also, Canopy Growth to report third quarter fiscal 2024 financial results on February 9th, 2024. I'll be covering that one as well. Trulieve MJ cultivation workers in Arizona vote to unionize. And last but not least, MSO Planet 13 sells its Florida MJ license and will restate financials. So this is not what investors want to see, but this isn't a stock that I own. It's a little bit, I'm just not 100% sold on it. I think that there's better plays out there, but I've been to Planet 13. I understand what they're trying to do. I just don't think that there's as much growth, 5, 10, 20 plus years from now. Could be wrong, but it's definitely on my radar. Like, I continue to monitor it and observe, but that's pretty much all I'm doing right now, is just sitting on the sidelines. So maybe one day we'll see, but I'm just not really that excited about it. I understand the business model, and it's a lot of it's just on tourism, and not like people in Florida or people in Nevada where they operate, right? They're not going to go there every week, right? It's more of like it's to go there for the experience and to experience something different, and they don't care if they're spending $300 on an ounce, because it's the experience, right? But yeah, I recommend everybody go there at least once. But like I said, I understand the business model. There could be a place for it, maybe a niche market, but I just think there's better opportunities out there. All right, let me know what you think of this news. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we shall see you again on the next video.